is Clone Fan 841, bringing you some Pogo bowling here. I'm going to give a little bit of a tutorial here on how to be successful. Before I get into the mechanics though, I do want to let some people know, those of you that might be following my Final Fantasy 7 Let's Play. Yeah, I'm totally sorry for not getting to that. I've been totally swamped. I've got school and everything now, and then the football games that came out for the PS3 lately. I'm so addicted to those. They're one of the best that's come out in quite a while, so I have not forgotten about it. I will hopefully get to that. But right now, upon per request, I am going to tell you a little bit about how I Pogo Bowl and make it look successful. I think it's about frame 4 where I actually dig a little bit deeper than I am right now. So I will wait till then to start talking about the bowling. Also, by the way, any of you Pogo guys that might know me as just Clone Fan 84, obviously I had to put the 1 at the end on YouTube because someone stole my name. What a shame. Okay. This is a league that I'm actually in. This is game 3 of the league. We bowled 2 games, and I got both of these games on. I actually bowled a pretty good game here, as you can see. I already started this game off with a turkey. And here in frame 4, I will start to dig into the mechanics of what I do to be a successful Pogo bowler. I usually do not get less than a 200. I kick myself when I get less than a 200. Alright. Now, for the first thing we need to go over is where I locate the ball before bowling. And that can be pivotal. Some people have a different way. But here, as you see when I zoom in, I like to have the circle of that dot to the left of the center, right there in the shadow. That's how I measure it. Right there in the shadow, that's perfect. Usually that's not too big of a deal if you're off a little bit, but it could affect it, so I like to try and keep it perfect. Now, lining up the shot, there is 4 different pin setups. This is one of the 4. So for this pin setup, where there's a little space between the head pin and the 3 pin, I like to have the arrow touching the side of the 3 pin, right along the side, like that. And for the curve, I like to curve it right here. A good way to measure it is the center of the ball is halfway into the pins. That's a good time to curve it. I got a little lucky on that strike, but I thought I did a pretty good job timing that one, so I thought I should deserve that one. But that's generally the rule that you want to follow for the most part. There are a couple of exceptions. One thing you definitely want to pay attention to when you're bowling is the angle that the ball is coming into the pin. If it's closer to the head pins, you want to wait a little bit on that spin. And if it's going a little further away from the head pin, you're going to want to start it a little earlier. Now, this pin setup, the head pin is a little bit to the right of the regular pins. You still want to aim for that left pin right there. The side of that left pin on that pin formation too. And you should be able to get a strike. It's generally the same concept. That one looked like a perfect one again. It should be dead center on when you curve the ball, where half the ball is into the pins and the other half hasn't gone in yet. You should see the arrow just before it switches. That's the perfect timing to curve it for the most part. But as you bowl more, you'll be able to see when you should curve it less or later. Here's another pin setup. This one, the 1 and 3 pin are actually closer together. You want to have the arrow of your arrow 1 pixel over into that left instead of touching the side, and then it perfectly goes in, and I got that curve spot on. That was a perfect strike right there. For my 6th straight strike in this game, I was hoping to get a perfect on here. I've never gotten a perfect game, but I've gotten a 298 before, so I know it can be done with this type of bowling. Just to forewarn you guys, the second game is not quite as good as this one, so that's going to be a good opportunity to show you when I'm late and early and stuff like that, and what usually happens to the pin setup. So, let's see, I believe this is the frame where I lose my perfect game. There is one more pin setup, but I don't get it for a while. I will show that to you when I get it. Once again, right there on the side. And that time I was a little bit late on that curve. You saw the arrow stay on there a little bit too long, and you know, sometimes I can get that strike, but most of the time you're going to leave that 10 pin when you're late on that formation, that kind of angle, with the ball coming in. And that's what shattered my perfect game there. So, but a lot of it has to do with timing. I mean, you get that line and the location of the ball when you start bowling and the line down, that's great, but you have to get the timing down before you start getting consistent 200 scores. I believe this one's another spare here. That one I think I was robbed on. I felt good about that ball, and then that pin just didn't want to spin and knock that 9 pin over, so I got another spare there. I believe I strike out all the way to the 10th frame now, and then the second ball in the 10th frame or something like that. I think I get jobbed again. We'll see. But yeah, this was by far my best game of the tournament tonight, so I thought this would be a good one to put up. So this one, the first and third pins are a little spaced out, so you want to touch the side there. And perfect. And one other thing that is very important, when you put that curve on that ball, you got to hold down on the button. You don't just want to click it and let go. You click and hold. Don't double click, don't nothing. Just hold that ball, because that's what makes that ball rotate. And if it doesn't go into the gutter, it'll come over and knock that 10 pin over if it's still standing, if it's trying to be stubborn. And usually if it doesn't go in the gutter, that ball is, or all the pins on the left side are probably going to go down. And sometimes that spin can save it from the ball going to the left of the 7 pin as well. Now that one, I actually did put some curve, pardon me, on it, but it was so late, I thought the ball was going so close to the head pin that I wanted to wait a little fraction later, and I actually did put the curve on it, you just didn't see the arrow. So sometimes, even if you're late on it, still hold on to that arrow, because that ball is still curving. And that's right, I got 2 strikes and then I got the 9. I thought I was robbed on that one too. I might have been a tad late, but I thought that pin should have knocked it over. But there's my 267. Pretty good game, and there the seniors too had a pretty good game too. It looked like he got hot there at the end of that game. Nice game for him. Okay, so this second game I cut out a lot of the in-between frame stuff because I was running short on time, so I just cut out all that crap. And right there, see that, how I keep that curve on it? You keep that curve on it, and it might come over and knock a stray pin that might be standing. Alright, here's the 4th location that I haven't gone over yet. This is where that 3rd pin is a little to the left of it. You want to make sure that you're still touching that 3rd pin. Don't be just touching the one behind it. You want to get inside that one a little bit and touching that 3rd pin. To me, I think that is the easiest strike to pick up. You have a larger window of error, larger margin of error on that pin setup. It's hard not to get a strike, at least in my opinion. I have to really screw that one up. This one can be a little bit tougher to get a strike. I think the window is probably the second best window, but when you screw up, stuff like that happens. And here's another thing I want to go over. If you have 2 pins like that standing up, you want to aim right in the middle of those 2 pins. You don't want to aim right at the head of the front pin, because there's going to be times when it's only going to knock that 1 pin. You want to make sure to hit right in between them. And another thing is, take your time on those. Even when it's 1 pin standing, you don't want to rush the shot and miss an easy spare like that because you're impatient. Because remember, the timer is the same no matter what, so there's no reason to rush that. Just make sure you have it right in between the 2 pins, or right at the center of 1 pin standing. You know, I've actually launched my second shot with 1 second left to go on the clock. Timing and precision is pretty much everything in this game. So yeah, you definitely want to make sure. And that one, I thought I had a pretty good one going, and for some reason it looked like I was early on that. You know, it's funny when the 2 pins are really close together. It's funny when if you're too early on that, you can get some nasty splits like the 7-9, what is it, 795, I believe it is. That one's very possible to pick up, but it can still be tough. If you're late on it, that's the particular formation a lot of the times, where if you're late on that one, you're gonna get a 7-10 split, or maybe a 7-6-10 if you're lucky. That one is possible to pick up, but it's still a tough one. But that's usually the main formation. And one thing also that I learned is it's better to be early, or it's better to be late than early. I don't know if I've been saying late gives you 7-10 splits. What I mean is early gives you 7-10 splits. You do not want to be early. You would rather be late than early, because you can get a 7-5-9 split, or you can settle with a 2-pin standing, or 1 pin standing like that. But like that time, I was early, and I nearly got the 7-10 there, but I got lucky and the 7 went down for me. It's better if you miss to miss late. So if you want to start practicing doing it this way, being late's better than being early, let me tell you. So, alright, here there's space in between it, and I can't remember what happens here. I think I strike. Yeah, it looks like it, yep. Looked like a perfect one to me. 10 pins tried to stay up, but that ball came over and knocked her down. And that's pretty much it. I think this is the one where I strike here. No, I didn't strike. I think I spare then strike, or maybe even spare 9. I get a 215 this game, so we'll see where I end. I think I get a strike. Yep. Just barely got it. Had to do that one a little late there. So, yeah, that's pretty much the mechanics of how I pogo bowl and how I'm pretty successful at it. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope your bowling game improves if you stumble across this. And once again, Final Fantasy viewers, looking forward to finishing that whenever I can find time to play it. Alright, have a good time watching this, and thanks for watching. This is ClownFan841 signing off from YouTube.